like to bring to the stage an assertive educator, parent, and Mosaic ally, Susi Brennan.
Hi everyone, my name is Susi Brennan, and I'm super excited to talk a little bit about our Mosaic Peace Ambassador program at Daniel Webster Elementary in San Francisco. I have been a public school teacher for over 20 years, and back in 2005, I was working at San Francisco Community School, and I brought my 4th and 5th graders. It was my first experience with Mosaic, and it was not just transformative for my students, it was incredibly transformative for me at the time as a teacher, and later for me as a parent. It really brought home this idea that I knew and felt, but over and over again, Mosaic emphasizes the importance of building strong communities, listening to our own and each other's hearts, and spreading peace through our actions and our words. 2005 was one of my best years of teaching because we went in the fall, and that bond that we created as a class was incredible. It was my favorite year of teaching because of that. Unfortunately and fortunately, I started working in middle school for the next 8 years, so I kept the impact of Mosaic with me, but I just wasn't able to come to camp every year. And so I knew that I wanted to continue teaching these keys of peace, bringing that with me in my teaching. And so I never forgot that impact, and I certainly never stopped singing the songs. In fact, over the next few years when my kids were born, it was in regular rotation. So before my son even went to camp, he knew all the songs. This was a few years ago. My daughter will be attending camp next fall, so I'm super excited about that. I finally arrived back at the elementary level in 2014, and I got to work at my kids' school as a teacher coach, working with teachers, and at the time, the new social worker was also joining Daniel Webster, Rachel, who's in the house. And Rachel and I quickly discovered that we both had this big love for the Mosaic Project. And because I had been 8 years removed from going to camp, I was super excited to find another person in San Francisco, so excited about it. And immediately, we set out to figure out a way to get our 4th and 5th graders to Mosaic. So in the fall of 2015, we sent our first class from Daniel Webster. And I'm not sure I thought that the Mosaic experience could get any better, but 10 years later, it was everything it was and so much more. Again, I felt inspired to model and continue these valuable lessons back at my school. And if you or your organization is looking for this kind of experience for yourselves as adults, Mosaic also offers training and professional development for parents and teachers and your organization or businesses. So seek them out because it's just as transformative for adults as it is for our kids. So after camp, we were super inspired to harness that energy, these keys of peace, this listening and empathy and assertiveness that was starting to be built in our kids. We wanted to keep that going back at school. And so we learned about the Mosaic Peace Ambassador program, that they had designed some lessons that then we could have our students teach their younger peers. So back at Daniel Webster, we started the Mosaic Peace Ambassador project. And we would go around to all the 4th, 5th grade classrooms, all the kids who had gone to camp, or even if they haven't gone to camp, but they're with their peers, their 5th grade peers. We'd introduce the program, we'd have them apply, and you can see some of these responses up here, why they wanted to be a peace ambassador. And of course we accepted everyone, everyone who applied got in. But you'll see in some of their words that they knew that they're still learners, right? Like, it's not like, oh, I know what empathy is now. Like, I don't need to learn any more about this. They knew that they wanted to continue learning about it together. So since we always have a lot of applicants, we have to split them up into groups. And so we have 3 sessions a year. And we intentionally mix them up, just like Mosaic always does, from the 4 different classrooms. We bring different kids together from our Spanish immersion program and from our English program. And we meet for 7 to 8 weeks. Every Monday we have lunch together. And then we spend a few weeks teaching their younger peers. So we always start by building community first. So we eat lunch together. We hold a community circle where there's always a prompt. Often, many of them are Mosaic prompts. If you really knew me, you'd know that. And other ways for us to continue understanding these Mosaic values and how the theme or message we're about to teach, what that really means to us, so that when they're teaching their younger peers, they can really articulate really what it means for them. So the big part of our work together is to choose and then plan and write out and practice these lessons that they're going to teach their kindergarten through third grade peers. They decide who's going to say what, who's going to lead what. They use the script that Mosaic provides, but then they make it their own. And they get really creative. So one group, instead of just reading the book that went along with the lesson, they decided to make a puppet show. They practice it, they rehearse in front of their peers, they make note cards, they prep materials, they do all of this with just a little bit of guidance from me. And then, with some of the groups, with actually many of the groups, we've also had the time to come up with a little side project. So they've made posters about peace and hung them around school. We've made gifts for the classrooms. One group, we were teaching assertiveness, so they made these magnetic signs to leave in the classroom after they were done teaching to remind everyone that assertiveness means being strong without being mean. And then every spring, we have an annual Peace March in the Potrero Hill community with all the schools, public and private. We all come together for a peace rally. And now our Mosaic Peace Ambassadors are singing the Mosaic songs and telling the other schools about their amazing work. So there's the side project, but then the main thing is teaching. We spend 2 weeks going around to different kindergarten through third grade classrooms teaching the lessons. They teach in circles. They make sure everyone can see each other. They break up into small groups. They really become teachers. And these lessons all include a book with a message that's connected to the theme. They lead a book debrief, so they're actually getting the kids to connect to what does this mean to you. They run a gametivity, because Mosaic's all about gameativities. And they sometimes even fit in an art project. And then after each time we teach, we debrief together. How did it go? What went really well? What could we improve? Every student at Daniel Webster has received at least one lesson, and most receive 2 to 3 lessons a year from kindergarten through third grade. Our Peace Ambassadors really walk away with what it means to teach. They end up gaining a lot of empathy for their teachers when their teachers are struggling. So one student described it best. She came up to me in our debrief and she was like, I had this small group and they were going crazy. I didn't know what to do. I can kind of understand my teacher now. And she also explained, in 2014, I also helped start a mindfulness program, and she said, Miss Susie, I remembered my mindfulness breaths, and she's like, I took a few breaths and I reset, and then I was able to listen to what they needed, and they needed to move, so she had them stand up instead of sit down. So it's that like these keys to peace, right? Listening and empathy are so powerful. So the students at our Peace Ambassadors Day, in fact, one is here today. Sonia, raise your hand. I've got a Peace Ambassador from Daniel Webster. So Sonia and her peers remember receiving these lessons when they were in 2nd and 3rd grade. So they were inspired once they went to Mosaic to also become a Peace Ambassador. Peer mentorship is a powerful tool. Kindergarten through 3rd grade students, their attention and focus when their older peers are teaching them is astounding. Their slightly older peers have a cool factor that us older adults just don't have, no matter how hard we try. And older students gain a sense of importance in their school community, and they build leadership skills. They become like mini celebrities in the hallway too, because these younger kids are like high-fiving them and giving them hugs, like, that's one of my teachers. So Mosaic Peace Ambassadors, they learn how to engage learners. They model Mosaic values, not only as teachers to their younger peers, but also on the yard and in the classroom and at home and in the world. And they make our world a better place. When they become teenagers, Mosaic Peace Ambassadors have the opportunity to return to Mosaic as youth leaders. Here to tell you more about that is Mosaic's Youth Leadership Project Director, Kemnis Fisher.